Hello, I'm Onoche right here on Real Rumble. Today I want to talk about Captain America Brave New World. Now, the first time anybody heard about Captain America movie, everybody was a little bit down because we realized that Steve Rogers, aka the original Captain America in the MCU, had basically grown old. In another timeline? In the real timeline? In the same timeline? I don't know. This whole multiverse thing got me confused, but Steve Rogers was not going to come back. Well, is not going to come back according to the reports, because there were rumors that Chris Evans could come back to reprise his role or another role, or they Robert Downey Jr.-esque kind of role, because that guy from Tony Stark to Dr. Von Doom. But we've still heard that he could be back in the MCU, but maybe not in Captain America Brave New World. Captain America Brave New World is going to feature Sam Wilson, who used to be the Falcon, as the new Captain America. As you remember, at the end of the Avengers Endgame, Steve Rogers passed the shield literally to Sam Wilson. And look, I love the character of Sam Wilson. He's a hero, but he's human. He has no superpowers. He's just an ex-military, I think, Air Force guy who has his wings and his skills and his wit and courage to boot. So yeah, a strong black character if you want to make a case for black superheroes. But I don't know, as Captain America, you know, what made Captain America a fun hero, apart from his bravery and his patriotism, was also the super serum that he had. Gave him superhuman strength with the shield to boot. So Sam Wilson does not have any of that, but he has some things to make up for it, according to the director. So what do we know about Captain America Brave New World? Some basic facts. It's produced, of course, by Marvel Studios and Walt Disney Studios. It's going to feature, like I said, Sam Wilson as the new Cap. But we also know that it's intended to be the fourth installment of the Captain America film series, which started with Captain America, the First Avenger, and of course, the best, as far as I'm concerned, Captain America and the Winter Soldier. I make a case that movie is actually the best movie in the MCU. It knew where it wanted to be, and it did it well. It said, you know what? I'm gonna have superhuman characters here, but we're gonna do some espionage. And it did it well. And you know, that's where Secret Invasion could have actually done it well. They could have just... Anyway, let's not talk about Secret Invasion. The less said about that one, the better. But it's going to be the fourth installment there. And it's also going to be some kind of continuation of the Disney Plus series, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That one, of course, with Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes, who I felt should have been the one the shield is passed on to, because, well, he's already a super soldier and he was already a U.S. Army guy until those dirty Russians did what they did, but he would have been a great Captain America. So it's going to be a continuation of that series, which I watched only one episode and said, nah, I'm not doing this. In fact, the only Disney Plus Marvel series that I've actually watched to the end was WandaVision, because I walked right into that one, and also What If Season 1, because it was animation and I was pretty curious to see what they were going to do. What If? I watched all of them. I didn't watch Loki. I definitely didn't watch Moon Knight. I definitely did not watch She-Hulk and Echo. Hawkeye almost got to the end. Almost. Anyway, the film is directed by Julius Onah, who directed The Girl Is in Trouble in 2015. He also directed The Cloverfield Paradox in 2018 and Loose in 2019. And did you know that Julius Onah is actually Nigerian? Yes, he was born and bred in Otukpo in Benue State, right here in Nigeria. So I feel like I should root for this movie now. Anyway, the screenplay was by Rob Edwards, and the writing teams, and let me get this right, Malcolm Spellman and Dalen Muson, and Honor himself and Peter Glant. So teams of two, basically. So look, when you have so many writers on a movie that I'm hearing now is clocking into less than 2 hours, the expectations are going to be high, because why do you have all these people writing and the movie still turns out to be unexceptional? So it has to be exceptional, right? I hope so. I definitely hope so. Anthony Mackie is reprising his role as Sam Wilson and, of course, the new Captain America. And he likened his performance, and I'm quoting directly now, to the Tupac Shakur song, Hit 'Em Up. Yes. He said, since Wilson is not a super soldier, he uses Captain America's shield and his wingsuit, both made from the fictional metal vibranium, to level the playing field. I don't know how much vibranium would level the playing field when you're going toe-to-toe with the Red Hawk. And that's a lot of people's problem with this movie is, look, the Red Hawk maybe is not the Incredible Hulk. We've never seen him on the screen before, but we definitely know that Red Hawk has Hulk-type powers and abilities and strength. So how is vibranium going to help a human being? A human being can be crushed in vibranium. Just saying, it's not adamantium, and his bones aren't made of it. Just saying. Danny Ramirez is going to play Joaquin Torres, who's going to be the new Falcon. He's a first lieutenant in the U.S. Air Force and is taking on that mantle. He's also going to be using a wing pack similar to the one Sam Wilson had been using as the Falcon. We have Shira Haas as Ruth Ben Seraph, an Israeli former Black Widow and a high-ranking U.S. government official whose inclusion in this particular movie caused a whole lot of controversy because of the whole conflict between Israel and Hamas and all that. So, but she's still there, but I think that maybe she's not going to be portraying the exact character from the comics because of all that controversy, but she's still in the movie. Giancarlo Esposito is also starring in this one as Seth Volker, also known as Signwinder, who is the leader of Serpent Society. Apart from the comics, the only screen adaptation of Serpent Society I've ever seen was the 1997 X-Men. That's the old one, not the rebooted one that came out last year. So that's the only time I've actually seen Serpent Society, so it'll be good to see what they would look like on the big screen. And of course, we have Shosha Rockamore as a Secret Service agent, Tim Blake Nelson coming back as Samuel Stearns, aka the leader, who you saw in the Ed Norton Incredible Hulk. Harrison Ford, of course, is recast as Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross and the Red Hawk in this one. Also, Liv Tyler is back as Bessie Ross. Rosa Salazar portrays Diamondback, who is also a member of the Serpent Society, and Takehiro Hira appears as the Prime Minister Ozaki. So what's happening in Captain America Brave New World, which was called New World Order before, which they changed? I don't know. Maybe they just didn't want it to be associated with WCW. Anyway, following the election of Thaddeus Ross as the President of the United States, Sam Wilson finds himself at the center of an international incident and must work to stop the true masterminds behind it. So it's a pretty simple plot, and of course it has all the makings of espionage to it. And of course, after the series finale of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, One World, One People was released in April 2021, and Marco Spellman and series writer Dylan Muson were revealed to be writing the fourth Captain America film that continues Wilson's story. So that's when we heard that rumor that I told you about earlier that Steve Rogers, played by Chris Evans, was expected to come back in a different project, but maybe not this one. So Mackie, of course, said he wasn't aware of any plans for a film or a second season, but he was excited to see what was happening next. So yeah, eventually all that rigmarole became what is now Captain America: A Brave New World. By October of 2023, it had a potential to return to its May 2024 release date, but it was further along in production than Deadpool and Wolverine, which was not expected to complete filming in time because of that SAG-AFTRA strike. So the release date was eventually pushed to February 14, Valentine's Day this year, which is when it's now going to be released. Journalist Jeff Snyder reported that the film was not received well in early test screening and that 3 major sequences were being cut, and then Marvel Studios was planning to undergo extensive reshoots, which they did from January, I think even all the way to late last year. They were still making reshoots of this movie. And well, look, if you look at precedent, it's never really a good sign where your movie has to go through so many reshoots. And the reshoots cost quite a lot of money from the reports I'm getting, really pushing up the budget to almost $400 million for the whole movie. And this is minus marketing, skyrocketing from between $350 to $375 million to be specific, because of the reshoots, which cost between $75 to $100 million. That's a lot of money for reshoots. That's basically more than the budget of some movies as a whole. So I don't know, because how are they going to break the bank? Even though early projections are looking a bit positive for the movie, the tracking service Quorum reported that early box office estimates for the film in mid-January 2025 projected that it would earn $86 to $95 million during its opening weekend, and that's just, I think, in North America, and more than $100 million across a 4-day weekend from Valentine's Day to President's Day. So yes, it has some, should I say, optimistic projection estimates, but remember, they are just estimates, and that's a long way to go to break even. If the alleged budget overshoot is true, that means you're needing to have to make $400 million, but both in North America and overseas, to be able to cover that cost and everything else. You have to make a profit. In other words, this movie probably has to make almost $1 billion to say, yeah, we did it. And look, I don't see Captain America, the new Captain America, carrying this movie on his back to actually break the bank with I will be surprised. Honestly, I'll come back, I'll do a video if I am wrong, and if this movie eventually breaks $1 to $1 billion, I will be the first to tell you I was wrong. But I am not really optimistic for it when it comes to the box office receipts. Am I optimistic that the movie could be a good movie? Yeah, it could be a good movie. And yes, look, like I said, Anthony Mackie, great actor. Sam Wilson, a good character too. But there's so much riding on the shoulders of this movie. A lot of people are looking at this movie and saying, oh, could this be the MCU savior? Could this be the savior of Phase 5 or whatever phase they're in right now? I don't know. I really don't know. I think if it stood on its own without all the baggage of people saying, okay, is he going to be a better Captain America than Steve Rogers or what? I mean, if he stood on its own merit, maybe it could be a great movie. From the trailers, I think it could be a decent movie. But like I said, with the amount of money that has gone into it and the amount of money that it's expected to make, and of course, with all the bunch of writers and the high expectations for this one, and with all the reshoots and the bad screen tests, man, I'm rooting for you, Anna, but man, I do not want to be you at this point. So, Captain America, Brave New World is going to hit the cinemas on the 14th of February, 2025. It's a good way to say I love you to someone, but be careful, just in case the movie turns out to be whack, it doesn't break up your relationship. So let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think this one is going to be a great movie? Do you think Anthony Mackie will knock it out of the park as the new Captain America? Let me know what you think in the comments, and please do like, share, and subscribe to Movie-matic. And till next time, you have yourself a great one and go see yourself a great movie. Peace.